Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic, and oh, it's a snake puzzle today, so I'm looking forward to it just as a result of that. Now, do check out our Patreon. Tennis Anyone is there. A few tiny problems with it. One is we fixed one of the puzzles, which had something missing, but it's all good now. Another is that some of the URLs, for some people in the PDF, it's hard to click the URLs, but if you just paste them into your browser, they'll be fine, and you can play the puzzles there. 6 brilliant puzzles themed around tennis, and give it a try because we're getting loads of correct entries, well over 100 already, and things are going well. So give it a try. Join us on Patreon. We love it when you do. We also love it if you try our apps. They're on the links under the video, along with Sven Sudoku Pad and our merchandise. But so is this puzzle. Now, I have changed the name of this puzzle. Darren. This is from Darren Nakamura, and I think it's a first appearance for Darren. Very well done to you, Darren. But I've changed the name because although I understand now the name you gave it, one of the words, ironically, had an offensive slang meaning. So I've now called it Slang and Slanger, which I think is the Dutch for snake and the Danish for snakes, but also has a sort of Dumb and Dumber vibe for me. So anyway, apologies to Darren, but there was a rude connotation that we couldn't go with in the original title. You may be able to guess what it is when you hear the rules, which I'm going to go through now. So, we're going to be solving this as a Sudoku. It's a bit miraculous, to be fair. Look at that. There are 2 numbers in the grid, a few little markings. Oh my goodness. Okay, normal Sudoku rules apply. We're going to be putting 1 to 9 somehow in every row, column, and 3x3 box. I'm wondering how hard this is going to be. Very, is my guess. There is a snake, a 1-cell wide path in the grid, that may touch itself diagonally but may not touch itself orthogonally. The head and the tail of the snake are given by circles. So that's all these circles are doing, is giving the head and tail of this snake, which, given that it can be diagonal but not, it can diagonally touch itself but not orthogonally, I suppose could look something like, I'm just randomly doing this at the moment, could look something like that. That would be a viable snake. It touches itself diagonally in a couple of places, but it mustn't touch itself orthogonally. That would make it a naughty snake. The head and tail are given by circles. Okay, cells in the grid are either on the snake or in one of several non-snake regions, which are groups of orthogonally connected cells that are bordered by snake cells and or the edges of the grid. Yes, I mean, okay, so far so that must be true. A digit in a square gives the number of cells in that square's non-snake region. So these squares are not on the snake, and they show the number of cells in their non-snake region. 2 of them are filled and 1 isn't. Within each 3x3 box, okay, digits on the snake are subject to the following constraints. Within each 3x3 box, adjacent digits on the snake must have a difference of at least 5, which is a German whisper constraint. So if these 2 digits were on the snake, they could be 1 and 6, but they couldn't be 3 and 7. Across the bold border between 2 3x3 boxes, so if those were on the snake, adjacent digits must have a difference of at least 4. So they would obey a kind of Dutch whisper constraint. Now they could be 3 and 7, but they couldn't be 3 and 6. Wow, okay, that's very unusual, but it's not actually that complicated to understand. This is, in theory, a very simple rule set with a very miraculous presentation. How can this solve uniquely? It's bizarre, isn't it? I'm looking forward to finding out if we can. Do give it a try on the first link under the video, but do check the length of my video first before deciding whether you feel up to it. If it takes me more than 3 hours, tread carefully. Right, let's give it a go, just see what happens. This is weird. Slang and slanger. Here we go. Let's get cracking. So, these are on the snake. Let's make them purple. These are not on the snake. Let's make them yellow. Hurrah, I've coloured 3 cells in the grid. No, the 1, that's useful. If this non-snake area is only 1 large, then it must be bounded on all the orthogonal sides by snake. So now we have quite a few snake cells marked. This must be a snake cell, because otherwise we've... Okay, sorry, I haven't explained this. What I believe must happen here is that these 4 will join up with 3 connecting corners. Actually, I suppose that doesn't have to be true in theory. If the 1 was more central in the grid, say that was a 1, you could have a snake path going there and there, and sort of going to the end there and joining up here and going to the end there, and that would be valid. However, I don't think that can actually happen down here, although it's not a case I'd thought about till a moment ago. Because if you joined those up and those up, the point is, if you joined these up and... Okay, what I was trying to decide is, could this possibly be yellow? And I don't think it can. Because how is that going to join... Well, how could that exist? That would be a corner. I mean, it just... The snake couldn't get out of here without touching itself. That can't be yellow. Don't worry, I'm okay there. Now, can this be yellow? No, because that would be a head or tail of the snake. So that's purple. Now, the snake must... Well, this must be yellow. This must be yellow. Not sure about this. I think the snake could come in here. Okay, it can't quite do that because how would it get out of this cell then? This row 7 column 3 cell. The only way would be if that was a corner and then it gets stuck here. It's going to bump into itself, either close itself off or touch itself orthogonally. So that is yellow as well. This could be purple, because then the snake can get out there and there. This... Ah, now I've made that yellow. Was that right? It was right. Yeah, this is great. This has to be... This can't be purple. Because the snake... Oh yes, it... No, this can't be purple. Because the snake couldn't get out of there without touching itself. So that is yellow. This is it. That's purple. That's purple. That's purple to carry on with the snake. Miss. Oh, this is yellow because otherwise it's touching itself. They're yellow because otherwise... Actually, these are yellow because otherwise the snake goes in here and can't get out. Yeah, okay. This region, we know quite a bit about it. It's at least 8 cells big. So that is an 8 or a 9. Now, I'm tempted to say it must be an 8 with the snake coming around here. But actually, be careful because the snake could do that and it would be a 9. There might even be... Yeah, there's other places where it could be a 9. Yeah, okay. So that is 8 or 9. I can't go better than that. I'm not loving this contrast for myself. So we don't do purple and dark blue, but I quite like purple and bright blue. I don't know. I don't want to annoy colourblind people. Okay, let's go back to yellow. I think that ought to be contrasting. This is now purple because the snake has to get out of here. This is really interesting. We're able to get somewhere. Now, this is a 3. So the third yellow cell is either here or here. This must be purple. Because otherwise, whichever one of these was a yellow cell would also join onto that and make it a 4 size shape. So that's purple. Now, hang on. If this was yellow, all of these would be purple. And I don't see how the snake would get out of this corner. So that's not yellow. That's yellow. This is lovely. So that has to be purple to shut in this yellow. That's purple to get the snake out. Now, it mustn't join up here, so that's yellow. So purple to get it out there. We're making all sorts of diagonal ladder bits of the snake. Now, this is on the snake. So it either comes down like that or down all the way. Oh, this is a 3. That's purple. This is a corner of the purple of the snake. So that goes like that. Then it's got to come out here. It's got to go there. We're getting loads of snake cells. These are yellow. It mustn't join up. Yellow, I said. That is snake. It's got to get out. Now, it doesn't have to go straight up. It could do that. It can't do... In fact, it's quite likely to do that, I think. These are yellow because otherwise the snake is touching itself. We're running out of clues though. We've used the 1 and the 3 fully. I mean, it's brilliant that even this is relatively straightforwardly doable. I think that must be the end. No, not necessarily. This could go up there. And then this could loop round there. Okay, no. What I was going to say, not necessarily true. Now, this has to be shut in because this region isn't allowed to be more than 8. How could that be yellow? That couldn't be yellow because that could never be purple then. Because the snake would sort of die in that corner. So they would both be yellow, would be up to a count of 10, which isn't allowed in that cell. So that's purple. I think the same's true here. Because if this was yellow, purple would die in the corner here. So that's purple. This one, I don't know. I think that could be yellow. But we've now shut this down so that those 8 cells are in this non-snake region. And if there is a 9th, it is definitely here. Now that doesn't mean I can make this purple and join all this up, because this snake could do that. No, it couldn't do that actually, because then it couldn't get out of the north, but out of the northwest corner, but it could do that. I haven't really thought about numbers on the snake at all yet. Maybe it's time to do that, because I'm kind of running out of ideas here. I don't know if it either snakes up like that or it snakes up. Well, actually those two are both purple. Either way, it's got to get into this column, otherwise this number would be huge. And to get into this column, it's got to take 3 cells, being a snake that doesn't touch itself, and they've got to include those 2. I don't think there's a single cell here that I can definitively colour yellow. Maybe that one? No, not even that one. That could be part of this loop. Anyway, I was going to think about numbers, and I'm going to do it now. The purple cells obey German whispers within boxes and Dutch whispers as they cross box boundaries. Difference of 4 or more. Right, these 4 are the same polarity, either high or low, and they're all of them. Now, if those were 1, 2, 3, 4, the 3 would be up here, 4 couldn't be in either of these positions. Right. The things I know about German whisper lines with a difference of 5, the normally green whisper lines. Actually, would it be worth... I'm going to do this. This is a bit weird, but let's get the pen tool out and do some fun colouring of German whisper lines along the bits that have German whisper constraints. Why not? Look at that, we can do all of those bits. And then orange Dutch whisper lines along the bits which, I hope you can see this colour contrast, because I think it's quite interesting, to be honest. Right, along the Dutch whisper lines, as normal in orange lines, difference of at least 4. Along the greens, difference of at least 5. And it makes the snake clearer for anybody who was struggling with purple and yellow. This is good. Okay, now, what the heck do we do with the numbers? Right, I was just thinking, if these couldn't have a 4 on. Oh yes, I was going to go through the things I know about German whisper lines. They can't have a 5 on. Dutch whisper lines can. And that's because 5 doesn't have any valid German whisper neighbours. They therefore alternate while you have a run of German whisper only, which would include this. They alternate between high and low, higher than 5 and lower than 5, to maintain the difference of 5 or more. And this was a point I was getting to, 4 and 6, I think Simon calls them monogamous digits. They can only have one possible partner. 4 can only see 9 on the line, and 6 can only see 1. And that's why these couldn't be 4s. If these were the low digits, these couldn't be 4s, and they can't be 3s. They would be 1 and 2. This would be 3 and 4. Now, I've only just thought, this snake moves orthogonally. And therefore, I was going to say there's a kind of holistic constraint over the grid. A sort of checkerboard constraint that all the high digits will be on one bishop's colour. So if we checkerboarded the whole grid in 2 bishops' colours, I'm talking about chess bishops, which can only move diagonally. Therefore, they always stay on the same colour on a chessboard. And you have one of your bishops is on the white squares and one on the black squares. So if we checkerboarded this whole grid, I was going to claim that it would always be high digits in one of these checkerboard positions and low digits in the other. I can't do that because the Dutch whisper constraint allows a switch. In fact, if this was 9 and this was 5 and this was 1, you'd have these on the same checkerboard colour but different polarity. But there may be portions of the grid where this does apply. This is such a weird idea. But I think it does apply in these bottom 3 rows because, yeah, I mean, the simplest way of looking at it is none of the cells which have a green line in can be a 5. Because 5, yeah, that's what we said. 5 can't be on a German whispers line. So none of those have a 5 in. Therefore, we are alternating polarity in these digits. Now, that is going to mean something interesting. If that is going to mean... Okay, I was hoping they were all the same parity and we would then have discovered they were high polarity, the same highness or lowness, but they're not, because the alternation thing means that these ones are the same. Yes, okay, that does it. That does it in a weird way, right. These cannot be low. They must be the same polarity for the reasons I've tried to explain, although I keep interrupting myself. But we've got to go, let's assume this was high. Then we've got to go high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. We can't do a polarity switch because we're always on a green line. High, low, etc. So these three are always the same polarity. And I am going to say that they cannot be 2, 3, and 4 because none of them can be a 4. This one has two neighbours that see each other. This one also has two neighbours that see each other and can't both be 9. And this one does too. So these are high digits. And they can't be 6 for exactly the same reasons they can't be 4. 6 is the other monogamous digit. So those are 7, 8, and 9, and they're a set. Now we know that these are the low digits, and we worked out these couldn't be 3 by sudoku or 4 by the monogamous rule. So they are 1 and 2. These are 3 and 4. And the weird thing about this is that either can be a 4. This could be a 4 with a 9 there and actually an 8 or a 9 here. This could be a 4 with a 9 there and an 8 here by this rule. Actually, whichever one of them is a 4 does have a 9 down here. So that's not a 9. That is now 7 or 8. Right, these two that touch 7 or 8 cannot, on a green line, cannot be 4. So they're from 1, 2, and 3. There's already a 3 in the box. They are 1 and 2. And we know where they go. And we've got a digit in this grid. We've got 2. These are high. This one touches 3 or 4. So, but on a Dutch whisper line. So it could be a 7. Oh, so strange. Let's put 7, 8, or 9 in here. Now, this is low. It can't be a 5. But look, it can't be 1, 2, or 3. That is a 4. This, you see, I was about to say this must be a 9. Quite the opposite. It's not a 9. This must be a 9. That's a 9. This must now be 8. Oh, look at this puzzle actually unfolding some secrets. This one must be 7. It's in between 1 and 2, so it can be, and it can't be 8 or 9. So we've got a 5, 6 pair in yellow here. What have we got in yellow here? A 4, 5, 6 triple. Bottom one can't be 4. This is 5 or 6. Now, this is low, and it's not 1, 2, or 4. That's a 3. This is high, and it's touching a 3 on a green line. It's an 8. This is low, and it can't be 1, 3, or 4. This is amazing. That can't be a 4, actually, because there's a 3, 4 pair. So this is the 4 in box 8. This is 5 or 6, and this must be a 7. I haven't resolved this. This, well, I was going to say it's high, and that's true, but it could be a 6 on the orange line. This is low, and that might, yeah, it's on a green line. It can't be a 5. So that's 1, 3, or 4. This is high. It sees an 8, 6, 7. No, it can't be 6, actually. Can't be 6, because wherever this snake line goes, it's going to stay in the box. And it's going to do it with a green line, and 6 cannot have two green different neighbours. Now this is high, but it could be a 7 next to a 3 on the orange line. This constraint is so strange. It's a very clever idea, Darren, I have to admit. No, I don't know that this has helped much. I mean, it's helped, obviously it's filled in numbers in the bottom, but it hasn't really helped trace the snake path anywhere. These can be very happily low. Now, I'm just wondering, I can be definite that this is going to join up to that. Now, could it possibly... I can be definite that this is going to join up to that somehow, either directly or circuitously, because this can't go and hit a head or a tail, or that could never get out. So we have to get these into the line. And this one is going to have to get out of the box somewhere up here and then come across and hit one of these heads or tails. This is going to hit the other of the heads or tails, but this is going to have to join up. I mean, there's no other way. There's no, it is, in fact, it is either that shape or that shape. Now, what I would love to be able to say is, even if it's that shape, can I determine that this is high? I'm just going to think about that for a second. If it is this shape, we can't go 9, 5, 1. We can't do a polarity switch using double Dutch whispers, because that 1 stops that being a 1. So there's no polarity switch. That would be high. If, on the other hand, it goes this way, you'd have low here, high here. The only place where there'd be 2 orange lines in a row is in this segment of that line. So that's the only possible place for a parity switch. You'd be high here, and again, you couldn't do 9, 5, 1 because of this 1. So there is no polarity switch as we go round here. This must be high. I've proved that to my own satisfaction. I'm not going to claim I've definitely proved it to yours, but it must be true, because you need this double segment of orange to achieve a polarity switch from high, mid, low on this line, and it's not possible either here or here, because that couldn't be a 1. Okay, I'm fine with that. Let me see if that gets us anything. This is 1, 2, or 4. And it could, no, it can't be 4. It could only have been 4. That would be a 9, and then this would have to not have a 9 there. That wouldn't be allowed. It could get out of the box here to an 8 or a 9, but it can't do that, so that's not a 4. That is 1 or 2. But I don't know where it carries on to, because it could carry on to a 6 or a 7 here, or well, theoretically a 5, but practically not, or 8 or 9 here. Now, either way round, this is going to be low. 1, 2, 3, or 4. This is going to be high and touch 2 digits on green lines. It can't be 7 by Sudoku. It can't be 6 by the monogamous rule. It's 8 or 9 as well. What am I meant to be thinking about next? I don't know. It's so interesting, but it's so weird. Okay, 5's in one of those cells. That's just Sudoku. Can't be in those, so that 5 says there's a 5 there. Ooh, there's a 5 in one of these cells. I don't know. 6. If 6 was there as well. No. Wow, this is getting crunchy suddenly. What's going on? There's such good progress in the bottom. I don't know. Can I rule that out somehow? This would be low. That would be low. This would be high. This would be high. This would be low and would have to be a 3 because of 2, 1, and 4 all sitting there. Ah, actually, there's one circumstance I do need to think about that I haven't mentioned, and that is a double orange line which could prevail here and not a polarity switch. I've only thought about that in terms of a polarity switch, but why at the moment could this line not be here and go 9, 5, 9? I think it could. So when I say this is low, if it's a snake cell, what I am meaning is it's either a 3 or a 5, which is a weird circumstance, but you do have to think about it, and it might be accurate. One of these is a 6 or a 7, given this 5, 6, 7 malarkey here. One of them is a 6 or a 7. It's not any use, is it? Don't think so. Although there might be ramifications that I can't work out. That's so strange. I daren't say that I know the polarity of these digits based on the checkerboard, because it just might not be right. I mean, that would be interesting as a shape though. But I mean, it wouldn't even have to do that. It could go round there. Oh, it's so strange. Right. I need to have a new fresh idea, or just a better way of thinking about this puzzle. It could be to do with sudoku, couldn't it? 8, 3 and 9, or 2, 1 and 4 here. Okay, let's have a think again about these. One of these is a 4-9 pair, so the other is a 3-8 pair. Now I thought I couldn't do anything with that earlier. If that's a 4-9 pair, that has to be an 8. If that's a 3-8 pair, then that can't be an 8. I don't know. Okay, I thought I was going really well, and now I'm just grinding to an ugly halt. 7, 5 and 6. How are we going to fit those in here? Can that be a 7-6 pair? That might be able to be ruled out. If this was a 7-6 pair, I was going to say you can't go north from that, but you can, because you could have 7-3. That would be if this was a 6, that would be a 1. If this was a 7, that would also be a 1. No, it could be a 3. Ah, I don't know. I wanted to say that these are definitely from 5, 6 and 7. And I thought that might matter. 5, 6, 7. Do you know, I think this could there's a 3 up there as well, somewhere, as well as a 5. There's a 3 somewhere here. That's not a 3. The only way this is a 4 is if it can get out here with an 8. 9, 4, 8. And that wouldn't be right, actually, because... So if this was a 4, this would have to be a 9. Then the snake would have to continue with an 8 here. But that would cut off this non-snake region to be 8 cells And with an 8 there, you can't put another 8 here. So this is not a 4. This is 1 or 2. I don't know what parsnips that butters exactly, but I'm beginning to get slightly interested in the problem of how you cross over from here into this box in one of these rows, which is what this snake is going to have to do to get out. And it's going to struggle to go through a high digit in this row, specifically here. And I'm wondering if that means we can keep it out of this corner, which would be incredibly helpful. Right, let me think about that now. No, let me think about this. If this was purple, then that's an 8 by the count of the non-snake cells. Then this sees 8, 6 and 7 and is a 9. And then these have to be a 6, 7 pair. Now that might be difficult to fulfill. Although I was thinking about this earlier and didn't quite get anywhere, if this is purple, this is definitely a 6, 7 pair. And that seems interesting. So I want to give a little bit of time to think about that. Also, because that would mean 6 and 7 were in this group of cells, and they couldn't be the bridge. They could only be, 7 could be a bridge between a 1 and a 2. But that's all. 6 could only be a bridge, well, it couldn't be a bridge within a box with the 2 green lines connecting. So 6 and 7 would be off the path up here. But I mean, you only need 1 digit to get through. Oh, okay, right. Let's just see if I can falsify this being a 6, 7 pair, because then I know this colour. And actually that would be incredibly helpful too. I want to know the colour of this cell. And if it's purple, this is a 6, 7 pair. Now, what does that do? It doesn't really, it's just not falsifiable. That's so annoying. This would be an 8, so that doesn't hamper this. Ah! Okay, let's think about these 2 possible paths. One is there and one is there. This has to either go... I mean, something that's worth thinking about would be if there were any more squares, there would be another restricted non-snake region, but that just doesn't seem to be the case here. Oh, goodness gracious, sorry, I've got to come up with something here now. What are we going to find? 4 can't be in those cells, and it can't be on the snake in this box, because it would have to act as a bridge between 2 purple numbers, and it can't do that. Between 2 numbers on the green line, sorry, and it can't do that. So 4 is not on the snake, and it's in one of these cells. That doesn't help. 5 and 3. 4, 1, 2, 5, 3. If this was on the snake, ooh, if I could say those were different, it would have to, it couldn't be on the snake because there is no low digit that could go. Okay, let's vaguely think about that for a moment. If this was on the snake, it couldn't be a 4 because that's not allowed to act as a bridge digit between two green connected cells. It couldn't be a 3 by sudoku. It would be 1 or 2 again. If this was on the snake, it would be 1 or 2. The alternative is that this is on the snake, and that can't be a 4. Oh, that's okay. Well, that's something. Wherever this snake goes next, it goes into the other 1 or 2 in this box, in one of these cells. I don't know how to pencil mark that. I'm going to do it like that for now. Now, if it went there, how's it going to get out up here? Or it's got to go along here anyway. It would have to have a low digit here that would have to be a 3. So if the snake went into the corner, got a 1, 2 in the corner, that would be a 3. This digit would be impossible. Yes. Right. If the snake went into the corner, it couldn't be a 4 here because that couldn't connect to cells with green lines. It couldn't be a 3 because 3's in one of those cells in the box. It would have to be a 1 or a 2. That would then connect to a high digit here, and it would have to then come into this cell. And I'm now alleging that it can't, because that would have to be low, can't be a 4, it would have to be a 3. And this cannot be a 3 on the snake, because it would have to connect to this cell and be an 8 or a 9, and that cell can't be. So the snake does not go into the corner. This is a 1 or a 2, is on the snake. Wow, that has taken some doing. Now, the snake can't go here, or it's touching itself. It does go here. Now we've got something going on. We've got, this has been confined down to an 8. This is not 6 or 7 or 8. This is a 9. It's a high number. We can draw an orange line there. We can draw a green line here and here. Right, now we've also got 1, 2 pairs forming. 8, 3, 9. Oh, these can't be 9s. They are a 6, 7 pair. So all my time spent trying to falsify that was pointless. This is a 3, 5, 9 triple. That's an 8. These are 4, 6, and 7. That has to be a 4 in the corner because it sees a 7 and a 6 down here somewhere. That is a 6, 7 pair. This is a 5, 4 pair. This is a 3 and a 1 or a 2. Now, what on the line has got... Ooh, where is this going next? It's not going up or down because not even 7 can connect out again. So it's going straight along to here, which is therefore not a 3 or a 5 because this is a green line. It's a 9. Green line there. Now 9 is not then connecting up or down either because it would connect to a 5 and on a green line that's impossible. So it goes here. And the snake has got out of box 1. And this has become a snake cell. And there is a Dutch connection between all of those bits. Okay. Okay. Now. That is yellow. Let's just keep going with this. This, don't know. These are yellow. Otherwise the snake touches itself. Right, we've got some progress. That took ages. Yes, I still find this absolutely fascinating. That is 1, 3 or 4. Even though it's on a whisper line, it can't be a 5 because of this. Actually, can it be a 4? No. The difference would be too small. So that is 1 or 3. This one also can't be a 4. Now that's 6 or 7. So we've got ourselves a 1, 3 pair here. And this is low. So it's a 4. Yes. It sees a 2 and a 1, 3 pair. I just want to check this again. These can't be 4s because those would have to be at least 8. Okay, this is a 4. That is going to have to connect. I shouldn't have made the line up here green, by the way. I should have made it orange. But now this is going to have to connect by a green line to a 9, and that's obviously up here. So the snake then goes this way. You think I'm being very slow colouring these cells, but actually I think I'm being very accurate. That is low. It can't be 1 or 4. That is 2 or 3. This on a green line is 7 or 8. This is not 9. Those are both not 9. I've known that for ages. I just haven't marked it. Wow, this has become a 7 because of the 9 at the top, and this is a disaster because it's gone wrong. Right, I'm going to have to wind back. I've seen that I've put an orange line. I'm going to have to go back a long way. Now, I made this an orange line. It is actually green. This is not what the problem was. I said these are both low. That's right because of the green line. So I was thinking of this as a green line even though I hadn't marked it as a green line. But something has gone wrong because I decided that these couldn't be 4s because of these connections. That is right. But my problem is coming because if I make that a 4, and that a 9, that's not a green line, by the way. That is an orange line up there. Not that it really matters much at this point, because you can't make this a 5 because it has to go on somewhere with a green line. Now, where did my problem come? My problem came because I can't remember what my problem was, but there was a significant problem that meant things had gone wrong. It was to do with this. It was to do with this digit. If I put a 9 there, this becomes a 7, but it's linking to a 3 on a green line. So somewhere I have made an assumption that is wrong. And that is very frustrating. That can't be a 7 because it would need to link a 1 or a 2. So that's a 9. And now I think what I'm saying is that this can't be a 4 because it would have to connect to a 9 that can't be there or there. But if it can't be a 4 and that's a 1-3 pair, then I'm all sorts of trouble. Now, with that being a 9, it could connect to a 4 in one of these positions, but only if one of these was an 8, and they can't be 8s or 9s. Right, I'm going to rewind back a long way. Sorry about this, but I do want to know what's going on. This is just weird. See, at this point, I thought I was solid up to this point. And what I worked out was this must continue. It can't get to a 4 in this box because that 4 would connect 2 green lines. It must connect to a 1 or a 2 because 3 is up there. I said it couldn't be here, and I said that because this would be low and it wouldn't be 1, 2 or 4, it would have to be 3. But that couldn't connect on its left to an 8 or a 9. I think that's right. So this has to come here now. It has to, that has to be right. 1 or 2 there. And a green line. I don't know where I'm going to find something that, sorry, green line there, orange line there, purple cell here, and I said that had to be 9, and that's because it sees a 6 and a 7 here. Well, it's 8 or 9 at the moment. Somehow I was determining something up here. Oh, this has become 8. That's how we did it. So that's 9, that's 8. These aren't 8 or 9. These are a 6, 7 pair. And this is where the problem lies. Because now we've got to there. Ah! I said it had to go right. It can't go up. And it can't go up. Although this wasn't quite how I thought of it before. But that would have to be 6 or 7. Would have to connect to another 1 or 2. But we've had all the 1s and 2s. So it can't go up and it can't go down. It has to go right. This has to be high. It sees 6, 7 and 8. It has to be 9. Now, I did also then say that 9 couldn't go up or down. Was that an error? Yeah, that might be where the error comes in. Okay. I might be still alive here. Let's try it from here. Without assuming that I have... Why did I say 9 couldn't go up or down? Well, it can't go here. These are now yellow. That's become purple. Let's just do the snake first. Those are yellow. These are yellow. Let's not colour this cell. That cell's, I think, is going to become purple now. Now, these have become yellow. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. So we get a green line here. We get an orange line here. Now, I can use the logic that I was failing on to actually make the next step now. And that is called a learning experience. 4, 5. These are from 1, 2, 3. Okay. This is low, and it's got to be 4 away from that. So it's 1, 2 or 3. Can't be 2. It's 1 or 3. This can't be a 4 because it's next to that. So we've got a 1, 3 pair. They can't be next to a 7 because 7 cannot be next to 3 on green. This is all right. Now we say that this line cannot go there because this would have to be a 4 or a 5, but it has to continue, so it would have to be a 4, and a 4 can't continue on to a 9. So this line does not go there. It goes up here. And these are purple, and I don't see why it can't go into a 3 here. Maybe I'll see in a moment. Yes, now what I may have thought is because 3 can't go into an 8 or 9, but it doesn't have to because that's an orange line. That can go into a 7. And this is a 7, and I think this works, and I am very pleased because I've done a lot of work on this. Now 4, 5 and 6 are needed in this column. Right, now we're moving. This is a 7 seeing not a 1, therefore a 2. Good grief. Well, sorry about the hash I made of that earlier, but it's a struggle. This is a struggle. This is a fun struggle, but it's a struggle. Now, let's carry on. Okay, 2 cannot go down here because this can't be 7, 8 or 9. So that's yellow. That's there, or yellow. 2 goes along here into 7, 8 or 9 that sees 7 and 9 and is therefore 8. I'm just trying to keep up the lines as well. Here we go. So where does that go? The trouble is that is going to go into a 1 either there or there. And no, okay, this is a 1, 5, 9 triple. Let's just do some sudoku when we can. Got 1, 3, 9 there, so that's a 3, 9 pair that can be filled in. Hello sudoku, I like you. These are from 1, 4, 5, 6. Now that 8 is going to carry on into a 1 either there or there. Oh, goodness gracious, what a puzzle. One of those is a 4, so those can't have a 4 in. 2 and 7 have to be in this group. 1, 5, 9. 8 and 3 have to be in this set. Now, is it realistic for that to join up to this end? 1, 9, that would have to occur. Then it would have to come down here because you can't go through 5 on a German whisper. It would have to go 1, 9, 2, 7. Okay, that won't work. That's quite complicated. But it won't work because you could not move on from the 7. So what I'm postulating is, can that connect to this head or tail? And the answer is no, because it can't come through there, or there'd be a 5 on a German whisper line. Not possible. The only path it could take, therefore, is this path. And the problem is you could specify the first 4 digits there. You'd have to go 1, 9, 2, because it has to carry on after that, 7, and then that can't carry on into a 1 or a 2 because you've used them in the box. So this connects to this head or tail, this connects to this head or tail. This either connects directly or with a tiny shimmy. This can't get past this, so these are all yellow. This well, there's various ways to get there. That way, that way, that way, and that way all seem possible to me. I reckon these are all yellow, but I mean, I don't know if that doesn't really help to mark yellow. Helps to mark other colours. Purple, specifically. Right, okay, but at least, you know, we're getting something done. There's a 1 in one of those cells from that 8. Therefore, none of those can be a 1 because of this 1, 5, 9 triple. These are from 2, 4, 6, and 7. They can't be 3 or 8. I can see that. So, whichever of these is a 1, wow, whichever of them is a 1, I was going to say it carries on to a 6 or a 7 in one of those cells. Not necessarily true, because it could carry on to a 9 here. 1, 9, 2, 8, 3. That's annoyingly possible. Very annoyingly possible. Okay, let's have a look at this tail bit of the line. I'm calling that the head and this the tail. What's going on here? Can we go down directly? Just looking for anything holistic, not really seeing it. So they've got 7, 5, 6 as a triple there. Interesting. That's low. The only way this could be on the line is being a 2 now. That can't be a 5. That was an interesting 756 group. Now, come on, think about this. Okay, if this was a 4, that's a 9, that's an 8. We've got 8, 4, 9 here. This is definitely going to be high. This is connecting either that way or that way. This is now definitely high. I mean, it's the smallest possible deduction. Actually, this is definitely low. These are either, we can't get a polarity change out of these roots. So this is definitely, is it low? Yes, it is. If that's on the snake, it's high. This is definitely low, but there's not literally one of the low numbers I can rule out at the moment. Could I? I could rule out a 4 actually, because where would that go to? Can't go to 8 or 9 there, can't go to 9 in either of those cells because that's a 159 triple. So if it's a 3, it goes to an 8 here. And then that curls round there. This would be 4, 8. That looks possible. Bother. Okay, I was thinking about this. Let's keep thinking about this. This is high. So if this is on the line, it's low. I think it has to be 1 or 2, given that it's connecting those two things. If it was a 3 connecting 8 and 9, it would break that cell. So if that is on the line, it's 1 or 2. Otherwise, the line comes down here, and it needs a low digit there and there. A German whisper low digit, so they'd be from 1, 2, and 3. But this couldn't be any higher than 8 or 9. So if the line comes down here, it's got a 7 here, separating a 1, 2. It can't have a 7 there because of that. This cannot be high because it sees 7, 8, and 9, and a 6 would have 2 German connections. These are not on the line. The line goes up to the tail here. Right. A deduction. Finally, another one. Now, this, I said, has to be 1 or 2. If it was a 3, it would be connecting 8 and 9, and that would break. So it's 1 or 2. So we've got a 1, 2 pair. That's not a 1. Now, what are the possibilities here? If this is a 4, we've got 9, 4, 8. It doesn't really hamper anything else. But it does make this 3, 8 down here. Then 8 has to go there. Okay, in fact, if this is not 9, 4, 8, if that's a 3, that's 4, 9, this is 3, 8. So either 8 is here or here. And that's not an 8. This is now 6 or 7, which is a pair with that one. Interesting. Maybe interesting. That is also not an 8. So the 8 in this box definitely goes here, but I don't know if it's on the line. 7, 5, 9, 8. So this is not 1 or 2 because they're a pair in this column. It's 3, 4, or 6. Okay, so let's just think about this again. 4, 9, 8. The 1, 2 pair, that would be 5. That is the only place for 5 in the column at all. Why don't I think 5? Yes, 1, 5, 9, triple. That is the only place for 5 in the column. Get a digit in the corner. Took a while, probably useless, but it's there now. I mean, there may be easier ways to see this puzzle, but not for me. How is this going to join? How are we ever going to find out? So many possibilities still. So much yellow acreage in the middle boxes. 3 has to be in one of the... 3 is a weird X-wing here, isn't it? 7, 5, 6. So whatever that is in one of those cells, and in column 7 has to be here. So that is 6 or 7. Ooh, nearly confined 2 in the box to here, which would have sorted out these. They're not, are they sorted out by some whisper thing? This, if that was 7, 3, that would be a 6, that would be a 1. I can't see how that resolves. Ah, come on, Mark. 7, 5, 9. Normally a bit of look ahead is what I can do, but I'm really struggling with this puzzle. There's a 5 in one of these. Now, maybe I just need to think, if this is on the path, it's high. If it's 6, it could only be on the path by connecting to a 1 there and a 1 there. So if that is 6, the path, and on the path, it goes like that. If it's 7, that's possible, and that's possible. Okay, that's not interesting. Now, this being on the path, we know it goes 1, 9, 2, 8, 3, and I haven't found a way of saying that's definitely wrong. Good Lord. There's got to be something manageable here. There's got to be 9, 4, 3, 8. 2 and 7 have to be in this set. It just doesn't, it can't be interesting. These must end up as the result of what else we do in this puzzle. There is no way that they can actually help now. So let's think about these possibilities again. If this is a 4, that's a 9. And that's an 8. So we've got 8, 4, 9, 1, 2, 6 or 7 there. 3 would have to be here. That would be 6 or 7. Oh, if that's a 4, that is a 4 and not on the line. But this could be a 3, in which case this has to be an 8. I think this becomes a 4, 6, 7 triple then. I can't see what that does. I'm so sorry to be so slow here. This is low. Come on, come on. Find something wrong here. That, if that's on the path, it's high. And it's a 6. And that's a 1. I don't see what that does. I mean, it's just not interesting. There is a 1 in one of those 2 cells. If it's here, it's not on the path. The path has to go through that. Okay, if that's a 1, that is also a 1. That's a 1. There's a 1 in one of these cells. And that's a 1. And there's a 1 somewhere here. I'll tell you what, that doesn't work. This being a 1 doesn't work. Because that's the 1 in row 2. And that makes that a 2 and that a 7. And this being a 1 makes that a 1. And this is a 2 and this is a 7. And that's 2 7s in the same row. Wow. Okay, good enough. That is not a 1. That is a 6. That fixes this as a 4 and that as a 5 and this is a 1. And that does start fixing this snake. 2, 1, 1 there. 3 and 1 here. 6, 7 pair there. So I've got 2, 4, 5, 8 along here. The 3 has to go next to a 7. That's a 6. That makes this a 6. That makes this a 1. This is actually doing it. This is so exciting now. That is not, that's a 3 to finish. Well, it's a naked 3. This is a 2. I thought that did something, but it doesn't. Never mind, never mind, never mind, never mind. That's a 4 now, so that's 9. This is 3 and 8. This is not, this is 8 on the Dutch whisper line. This is 7 to finish the column. That's a 6. This is 4. That is not on the line because it would need to connect to 2 things. So those are all yellow. Yes, I can do 9 and 1 at the top. 9 is not on the line now. It's the wrong polarity. So that is on the line. How will I... Oh yes, the line can't go 6, 2 because that would be a German connection. My goodness, golly gosh, brilliant. Right, so we've finished the snake. Hoo-wee! That feels like an absolute mission. Right, the snake is finished. The top 3 rows are finished. I feel like we might even dare to believe we could finish the puzzle at this point. That's a naked 2. Look at that, this row's done. These don't have a 1 in. Yeah, 6s and 5s in the bottom are done, so we're going to have suddenly finished the bottom 3 rows as well as the top 3 rows. Just got the middle 3 rows to do, and maybe they will just disambiguate naturally. It was all about that single blinking 1 possibility and how it ramified around the grid. Now, this had better get resolved. 6 and 4, 5 and 4, 5 and 7, 2 and 7, 2 and 3. What a puzzle, yes. Oh my goodness. I'm quite amused. The solve counter is 1 in less than 1 hour. Now, I didn't solve that in less than 1 hour. That was a mission, and that was great fun, but oh, that last step, it hurt. What a brilliant puzzle, Darren. Thank you so much for sending that. That was great fun. So there we go. There is the snake touching itself twice, just like our example, diagonally, but never naughtily touching itself orthogonally. Slang and slanger. There we go. Woo-wee. Okay, thanks for watching, and hope to see you again tomorrow for more. Bye for now.